I'm live. I'm live. I'm live. I'm live. Y'all know it's a delay. So if you come in and I'm waiting a little while before I start talking, it's because there's a delay on my end. So listen, first off, I want to say thanks. It's a That's a prayer to clear all the stagnant negative energy off of those that are in and those that enter because that's what I feel like doing today. You know. But I got my AirPods in, so if the sound sounds crisp or whatever, because some people say it sounds crisp. I just don't like stuff in my ears. Now listen, y'all. I'm observing the energy that I just left. Right. First and foremost, it's all kind of chaotic stuff happening right now. Now I didn't talk about Friday the 13th, but Friday the 13th, y'all already know what it is. Now 13 is a special a special day for the underworld. There's no underworld known to man that does not like the 13th, but it is a jinx day for those that got a lot of asaka on them. So you gotta be mindful, you know. When you got energies like 13, 22, 23, you kind of want to keep the keep people's hands from touching you. You might say, "Oh, well, why you didn't tell us that before?" Either it's because I didn't like the people that was listening to me. So this is how I'm moving. You understand? Like I didn't like the people that was listening to me at that time, the ones trying to send telepathic communication while I'm working, trying to interrupt me while I'm trying to do a service for my members and for those that really rock with me. Because other than that, you know what I'm saying? If you come in, to prey on me, PREY, you hoping that you can send some of that Nasikia to me, I pick it up and then I say it's reverse. And then you just have a bad day because that's how we move right now. I said that I'm the one that opened up the gates for the Oguna Siko Io, or the Gades and the Papas. And so when y'all come in here, specifically here. When y'all come in here and y'all over there talking about Baba Yaga and Gedi ECO, I'm gonna let you know right now they in here and we in the building, like literally in the building, in his all day, every day. It's like we own it and don't pay rent. You understand what I'm talking about? Now listen, I seen something, right? I seen it last night, and then I said, "Oh, it's Uncle Fo." That's that energy. Here I am a Pentagon. And so it's a little bit different. This is where I cried. I cried. I said, Big G, not the little G being Jesus. I said, Big G, take me out of this awful cold. Well, all of these want to prey on me. And it was crickets. And I said, okay, after years going there, I said, okay, it must have to be like this. And so guess what? It's like this. Look at this also what I understand is he will put me in the environment with those ones that felt like they ogo saw. It's a lot of masculine energy that want to get aggressive with me, but they turn their heads. You don't turn your heads on an elected one, not a woman. You don't do that because something might come cropping on you. I seen something and I said, listen, I looked at him, I said, that remind me of something my son would do. What's his name? Pop Smoke. They did you know how they want to film everything. And it looked like they was patting his pockets and all of that stuff. And you know what I'm saying? He just sitting there, little guy. Little guy. I don't know his music, but I'm observing what happened, right? And so he just sitting there. He looked like he was non-confrontational because that's how it be. At 13, 12, or whatever. You're not really trying to be confrontational around that time, because I'm assuming, because I could be wrong, he's around my middle child's age, and it's all about what you got on your feet, what you're wearing, what kind of car you drive, if you drive, if your parents got a home, and this and that. And so what happened? They all rat packed together. They all got packed together and start patting his pockets and messing with him and all that stuff. And he caught him leaking at the stove. And when he smashed them, it looked like he knocked heaven out of his mind. You understand what I'm talking about? I like that type of stuff because when I said bully culture was over, everyone acted like they didn't know what was happening to them even as an adolescent. They running around here in packs, wanting to prey on people. And now they feel like they done been introduced into voodoo or voodoo, and they feel like they can really get it cracking. Not when I'm here, and not when I'm gone either, because I am Osakana, I'm a Shazua. And when I come down on you, you're gonna know it. I do not like bullies. I don't. Now, another interesting thing that I seen was a little expose. That's called an expose on Mr. Mayweather. They say he is considered au photo broke, broke. Now I said the last time I watched Floyd, I was disappointed. I s- I, I sped, I sped going 2, 3 cities over just to get back and spent like $80 just to see him dance around the ring. I was pissed. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't seen a fight. I ain't seen a Floyd Mayweather fight since then. And I was waiting because anytime energy come across my table, it's for a reason. So I'm sitting there waiting. You know, I'm waiting to see what they got to say about Mr. Mayweather. And they say he is broke and that he is considered off a corner in Dubai. Y'all run over there in Dubai. Y'all playing with them. It's a miraculous event. So many of you Usikinos, black folks running over there to Dubai, in unfamiliar territory. But with some of them real royals and princes and stuff like that, you go over there, you won't come back. And who gonna say something? Whether or not if it's true, he need to know that it's floating, it's circulating. And then you got you every time you're on camera, you got billions and millions and trillions of dollars. I say he going to buy a car or something. Then he say, "Well, y'all, I need y'all to, uh, check out my real estate property." I said he making homes and stuff for rich people because it takes money to make money. What happened to the struggle? What happened to the dude say you was broke? You know what I'm saying? You didn't have no money in the interview, so now he got to keep making money. And then all that whole facility is Akata, Mordor, because you can't stop it from happening. It'll be one of the nicest buildings. Then next thing you know, you got big old water bugs all in the garage, all in the office, in the luxury magazine, party rental. You just don't know. You just don't know what's there. All kind of stuff, all kind of mystical creatures running around, scavenging around, and burrowing inside of the walls. When the big G say it's time for you to ascend or they come in, it is dual. It is dual. Some of y'all ascended. Y'all say I got these zeros attached to my name now, and what you gonna see is a slow decline because the big G is not playing with nobody. Nobody. You start making them big zeros, and you decide you need you some Uchi and Gucci and Lucci and all of this whole other stuff, and the next thing you know, you homeless like ether. It just come out of the blue. But see, y'all not as experienced with the game as Mr. Mayweather and others. They have a circle, and in their circle, they are treacherous. So when you start going overseas and you're London, and you're doing all of that other type of stuff you over there, you playing with the Osifi, the Asikina, the Shizawa, and you're wondering why it's a whole big old funky black cloud surfacing. The big G say it is shifted. It's shifted. What does that mean? That means 20 years from now, they're going to be saying Ether prophesied this 20 years ago. Everybody, all the rich people want to be with the rich people. Go ahead. I want to be with the people that make sense. I want to be with the people that when they leave out outside of their domain, they picking up garbage and putting it in the receptacle so they can make their community look better, feel better, smell better. Not those that take out they pang a wang and whip it out. You know what I'm saying? And whistle on your front door because they feel like it's not royalty there. You ever just met someone that feel like because you stay in a humble area, in a low income area, that they could just add to the madness? Remember I told y'all when I was up there in that low income, y'all do know low income mean you got to have a job to get in there. It's not the projects. The projects you don't need no job. So I'm living in the low income, and the man say I'm about to make this community better, and he start planting trees, and somebody come walk down the street and just kick them down. I don't like that. I don't like those type of people, and neither do the underworld because they say they don't want to change. They want you to feel hopeless when you walk out your door. They want you to feel scared. They want it to be a trifling, hot, chaotic mess. You want to impress me? You want to impress the underworld? Do something for people that you can't benefit from. Y'all ready to run it? Y'all done ran it. Oh, I see signs that the big G, not the little G being Jesus. I see signs that the big G is upset. So let me just go ahead and donate this tax write off real quick. Look, I did for charity. I got a charity. Then you promoting and advertising to all the people that can barely afford to come see you, and they ain't paid their rent, and they car bill late and all this other stuff. You'll say, well, that's their fault. Yeah, you donating to places they can't even benefit from, because as soon as you give that donation to them, they say this mine's here. Let me give me a Rolls Royce. Y'all know the game. That's why he got you over there. When I said you don't need 12 cars, you can only drive one. And what happened to that dude? What happened? What was that Stefan did? What was one of them got gaffled up for their Ferrari or Corvette or something like that. That's what happened. You gotta watch it. Because you don't want to leave a nasty taste in the mouth of those that truly support you. Because when you start getting those zeros attached to your name, you can say I'm jealous or whatever. I'm not where you at. When you go outside, it's gonna be so dark and dreary around there. You're gonna feel like you in the twilight zone. Alfred Hitchcock. Oh no. It is shift. I said to the angels, I said, you know what would happen if a black man got in that office? We would be down and out completely. And it's sad to say that. Because if they were to put a black man like y'all think y'all want in the office, you wouldn't have nothing. They would build so many communities that you could not afford, and then they'll gather you up in those camps that y'all keep talking about everybody's in and demolish you right there because you don't have no money. They can't benefit from it. So let's practice letting them be wanna be royalties and doing all the conniving and low down dirty stuff they can to get money in their pocket. For the folk, it's not going to last. Content creating is up and down, just like the industry. You're hot one day, you're not the next. So anyone prophesizing the fall of anyone else, ought not be in the industry where you need eyes to profit, bodies, ears. I said, when you over there on the gram, I said, this is like a fashion show. Who got the most? Who getting married to who? They used to say those was arranged marriage. They not arranged no more. It's for views. Listen, this is what they did to y'all sacred wood contract. Somebody said, I seen something. The dude say a spiritual father. I said, listen to this. How you go now? Y'all mixing religion with spirit with spiritualists. Now y'all want to combine the two. That see, this is how so many know they've been watching Ether because religion has always been separate from spirituality. So now all of a sudden it's together. He said, I wanna say thank you to my spiritual father. What? Who is your spiritual father? You mean universe father? They can't even get their lie right. All of them sitting there, they gather whatever they want to gather from listening to me. And then they get up in front of that camera and play in your face. One said, one said, look, look, she she ascended and then descended. And when she ascended, her hair started growing, right? She descended and she said, I'm gonna start making hair products. This is Asakina talking in their mind. I'm gonna start making hair products. And I said, when those people hair fall out, you're gonna be right back in the projects. She just said, let me go in the kitchen and whip this up. You know that's what they got the FDA for. Why y'all feel like y'all could just, start doing something without going through the proper protocol? Next thing you know, whole bank account gone. You know they do that, right? And it's so many trifling, uneducated. The education is right there in their hand, but they don't want to look it up. Ignorance is not a plea. You cannot argue ignorance. Y'all running to get LLC behind y'all name. Y'all know what happened with the PPPs. Loans. I'm laughing. You know why? Because these is ones that can't wait to say somebody broke. They can't wait to say you broke, you poor, you mad, you this, you that. And then they scratching and scratching and scratching, trying to get some red bottoms, diamond bottoms, and then they, $25,000 shoes, and you know what I'm saying, and you can't even pay $3,000 rent. These are the ones y'all want to put in front of the camera. They bragging about not ever having to work. I said, if pops end up no more, you done for. It was a saying, spare the rod and spoil the child. Imagine that. And then when you try to put them on, you can't even put them on good enough because they feel like it's your job. I shouldn't have to work. Who says stuff like that? I said, the ones that I observe, the ones around my age, the ones that I resonate with sometimes, they have humble beginnings. And then if they happen to reach a meal or more, even a bill, they start having offspring. And their offspring is nasty. Their energy is just trifling. They get old enough and they start looking at you like you a vice. That's the secret struggles of the wealthy. Y'all know what I'm talking about? They can't wait to get in front of camera and talk about how you broke and poor and you ain't do nothing for them. You know, I didn't want no used car. I wanted a brand new car like yours, but you ain't got brand new money like mine. And then you got the observers that saying, I just want to be like them. But they don't even want to be like them. Spare the rod and spoil the child. You know what I'm talking about? You got some that don't even want their offspring in front of no camera. They don't even want them on social media because of that very same thing. Imagine trying to be a parent and do the right thing, and someone wants to negate your responsibility, your parenthood, because apparently everyone feels like this is the wave of the future. Might I add that this is Satan's WWW. Y'all need to stop trying to be like Kim Kardashian. She's sitting up there thinking about all the plastic surgery she gonna get. And look, I said, you know what I said? Because I was born a cherub. Now I gotta say, it's a lot of things that I have ascended to become. But I was born a cherub. Y'all know cherub as cherubim on the hierarchy, the angel hierarchy. I said the way Big G do cherubs, single, plural cherubs. It was a misprint. But when I tell y'all the truth, y'all want to go with distortion, so I'm gonna let it be that. They said cherubim because they didn't want you to call on a chair. They wanted you to be down and out. And that's what everyone was, down and out. Y'all called on Saint Michael, and Saint Michael don't like you. That's why you never heard from him. Nor does Melchizedek, nor does Metatron. These are all archangels. All of them. When I said Jesus was not an angel, they said if Jesus is not an angel, you're not an angel. Where in any of your distorted books does it say that Jesus is an angel? Even in distortion, they said Jesus was the Son of God. And when I said all of us are sons and daughters of God, everybody was like, that's kind of true. Kinda. Well, then you must be something else because he created you. Make it make sense. So that means that Jesus was once a man. Yes. That means Jesus once walked the earth. And so did Yeshua and Yahweh. Three separate energies. Yah Yeshua is who you want to say. Why y'all feel like he just creates something otherworldly for you to exalt? Some cannot fathom the fact that these were once men, because then that means it's normal. That means when I said they feist them and y'all walking around with Tasakia on your neck, perpetuating the ritual. Oh no, everybody doing this comment. Everybody doing it. Look, you got one too. I know. Judas, he wants to talk about the Edomites. I don't want to talk about that. Not right now. I'm talking about it like I know about it because I'm an angel. You know, the thing about angels, they'll put in your mind what needs to be said. The Damonashes do not do that. Somebody had a vision, right? The big G, God, he'll do it too. Somebody had a vision from one of the movies. It was Devil's Advocate, maybe Constantine. And in one of these ones, these are two of my favorite movies, right? Dude was running, right? The one that was in trial, he was running, right? And then all of a sudden, the Monashees appeared out of nowhere, right? And their face was all distorted because that was a representation of the Monashees. Their face was all distorted, and the next thing you know, he laid out on the curb. Someone look at it and say, right, because you couldn't see the average person could not see what was on top of him. That's how it happened. They say, oh, he had a stroke, he had a heart attack. Because these ones run around saying, I'm Jamanashi, I'm Gede, I'm Ogun, I'm an oversoul, I'm Satan, I'm Lucifer. A whole movements was created under the guise that something wanted to be them. And when I try to make it make sense for y'all, y'all want to go with distortion. So that's why y'all in distortion because you do not accept the truth. They did not accept the truth when Jesus walked. They did not accept the truth when Yahweh existed as a man. And they did not accept it when Yeshua, amongst so many more, Timosh. See, y'all don't know past what they want you to know because that's when it started, the ritual. When I said you be, look, even the Bible shows you evidence, right? A paradigm shifts. Y'all say no, the flood, the pilgrimage, right? Everyone knows that the concept alternate universe exists and parallel universes exist, but they don't understand the dynamics. Voila, here I am. I'm telling you, it happened then when the walls were marked, and it already happened several times in several different places. Mordor is no joke. There is some that is born there. Remember, I said there's individuals that is born with connected abilities. So they already know. They already know how to maneuver and move around in that type of energy without anyone believing that they are insane. It's like you're new to the game. It's a phenomenon. You're new to the game, right? When you realize that something's not right, it's usually after something to try to go upside your head that you once felt you loved. Then it's understandable. You can say, "Oh, Big G, you wrong. Why you do that to my family? Like you supposed to be something. If it was done to the Angels family, what makes you think it's not gonna happen to yours? You know what I'm talking about?" Friday the 13th was a Leary day. Anytime there's a Friday the 13th, a lot of stuff happened there that I did not talk about on that day. Y'all do understand when it's the 13th in some places, it's the 14th or the 15th, possibly the 23rd, maybe the 5th in other places. You do understand that, right? If you can't even grasp the concept of time, then how can you grasp the concept of spirituality? Yashikina, Yimiya. Y'all know Yimiya is nothing to play with. She knows who her daughters are. When I get to Yimiya, Yimiya does not want to do no talking. If you address her by the wrong rank, she's going to be upset. So I advise y'all to not do that because you don't know what Yemiya is because I haven't told you. This is ascension. This is what it's like. Now, I gather the ones that are like me is going to want to be in peace and relaxation. They're going to just be okay with having loved ones around and able to pay their bills. Because we all know what the wealthy will do, the want to be wealthy. Because those that are comfortable with being wealthy, they are usually doing for others unapologetically. That means they don't have no hidden agenda as to why they are on their path, their calling, actively walking in it. I said it and I'll say it again. If a black man, a true black man, like you said, like a hood dude, was to get into the office, we would be done for. Y'all don't see it. Y'all don't see it. The best thing you could hope for, Ashakana, is that you'll be a jump off, a bucket for one of them, a semen bucket, because she's happy with that, and so is everyone else in that domain. When I said I can't do nothing with sassafras money. She said I was stupid. It's their money. These men that you are after, it's their money. They're not going to just give it to you. You're gonna have to do what you've been doing. Binding of the phallic and chaos and conflict and confusion rituals on everyone you lay eyes on. And then maybe you'll confuse one of them enough to where they'll put you on off the kitty. You ever just realize somebody cannot rap? Because I have. It's a whole fraction in the industry says, I don't know why they keep playing with Ether. I do not know. I hope Ether know. Matter of fact, I know Ether know I'm broke. So I cannot. God knows who ain't got no money and who cannot and who can. That's the excuse of a lot of people in the industry. And my spiritual spouse. Well, he got money. He got that's not what he said. That's not what he said. And what if his money ain't my money? Then, oh, what said I don't see why you like him because he got a wife. You got a wife, a baby mama, and a side dude. Nobody's talking about your business. Those be excuses. And then they get on their knees and say, God, can you bless me with this $1 million contract? And he say, no, but he can't hear because he is where it's nothing but pantheons blocking every move and every dollar sign that they can. It's reaping season. You know what? It's gonna be all right. There's one that already know because you don't have to be a psychic. You don't have to be an angel to understand when it's time to leave a place. I don't care how cheap it is. I don't care what you feel like you could have. If an area is designated for a certain thing, you're not gonna thrive in that area. Y'all know how I feel about the South. Granted, my grandparents is from the South. you know, on both sides. But y'all know how I feel. And I said, when I went out there, I said, the trees, man, the trees, like, mm-mm. Like the trees is an indication of how eerie it is. First time I seen a bobcat, I said, ooh, what is that? Flying roaches. It's something out of a Twilight Zone. I'm used to roaches crawling, not flying. It's not for me. I go out there, it'd be a whole other division that'll be trying to sit in my domain because I'm a chair. I know y'all want them to attack me and all of this stuff. I know y'all. I know. I know. That's why I'm the right woman for the job. God knew. God said, this time you're going to make it all the way through. This is why I got so many universe parents. Because in the past, some bragged about it, y'all. They said, we did something to her in the past, thought it was funny. And then Satan said, right. He said, he knew. This is where they got the bad rap from, y'all. From all of those that wanted to be there. Because when they go vicious, they go vicious. You know, if you knew what you was up against, you would thank them. You would thank the big G, not the little G, the little G being Jesus. Because Jesus is one of them too. I already told you. She kept saying, God, first of all, he don't like when you address him as God because he is not God. He is Jesus. When I said, can you send Jesus over there? We didn't hear nothing from him. How you gonna cast stones and spit on someone and fight them and then all of a sudden join in the group think conversation and decide that you is gonna get in where you fit in and become a believer again? You know, get your hand out my pocket. Energy. You remember that? The famous scene of Malcolm X. Get your hand out of my pocket. There's all kind of speculation surrounding that. But we know it be your own. You know what I'm talking about? It be your own all the time. Because no one else could get close enough to you. Somebody said, I gotta move different. Look, I seen a vision of a pistol being stocked up. Imagine that. Imagine that. You know, I want everyone to have a peaceful and blessed day. Amen. That is it.